How's it going, you guys? Damocles here, and today I am showing you my brand new Venusaur build. Venusaur just got a bunch of buffs, and a new build is taken over from the normal Sludge Bomb Solar Beam build, and it is a blast to play. I've been testing it like crazy the past week, and I figured I would just show you one of those test games so that you guys can see how to play it and take advantage of how fun this character is right now. So remember, like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. If you want more character builds, check out the channel. If you want to talk with me individually, or you want any Pokemon Unite updates, hit me up in my Discord or on Twitter. And thanks so much for the 19K subs, guys. I appreciate it. You guys know I love all of you. So this new Venusaur build, all right, instead of going Solar Beam Sludge Bomb, we are going to be going Petal Dance Giga Drain. This is a completely different playstyle, obviously. Solar Beam Sludge Bomb is more of a poke playstyle, whereas Giga Drain and Petal Dance, you have to really get up close and personal. But the benefits are that you can deal a large amount of AoE damage, you can stay around in fights for a long period of time, and it's really hard to take you out, even as a Venusaur. Even with, you know, all the crazy Lucario and Crustle Bugs going on right now, Venusaur is just a ton of fun to play, especially with this build. But I do want to just walk you through like some potential pain points and what the strong points are. And you're going to see that in this game. It's really, it's a nice little back and forth, kind of, in my opinion. And I think you'll get a kick out of it. So anyway, so basically what happened was Giga Drain and Petal Dance were never really a good build to go on Venusaur. The damage output was not worth being in melee range as Venusaur, which is normally a death sentence. But with the buffs to Giga Drain's damage reduction and Petal Dance's damage, now Venusaur is going to be seeing a major resurgence in this new semi-melee form. And so honestly, the weakest part of the game is kind of the first like few minutes when you're trying to get Giga Drain and Petal Dance. But Bulbasaur's like auto attacks, the basic attacks, actually deal quite a large amount of damage. And remember, they skill off a special attack. So make sure that you are using them to their fullest extent. They do a little stun, you know, knockback, pullback type deal. So make sure if you're ganking, if you're playing Venusaur in the jungle, which is a totally reasonable thing to do in my opinion, you go and you take advantage of those basic attacks as well. And then once you unlock Giga Drain's passive basically makes it so obviously you leech off of targets in a cone in front of you. Keep that in mind because that matters when you're talking survivability later on. But it also gives you a damage reduction buff. So it makes it so any damage that you take for a short period of time afterwards doesn't do as much damage, and it gives you so much survivability. You can see here, I can just kind of tank stuff, and this game, you'll see, I go a little bit risky, right? I start feeling myself a little bit, I go a little crazy, go a little ham, but it's just because this build is so much fun, and I just want to, you know, push the limits, see what you can actually handle, right? But once you get Petal Dance, man, you can chase people down. You chase people down, and Petal Dance, the more people that it hits and the more times it hits like an individual target, the faster it cools down your Giga Drain. So you can Giga Drain, get that damage reduction, you can pop Petal Dance, and you can see the Giga Drain cooldown comes back really quickly. And in my testing, it seems to be about you can get off like 3 Giga Drains in 1 Petal Dance. You guys can do your own testing, but that amounts to a large amount of damage, a large amount of sticking power because of the movement speed boost from Petal Dance as well, and just a large amount of damage reduction over the course of a team fight, right? So it's combining the two together, just having constant heals, constant movement speed increases, constant outward damage, constant damage reduction. It's just a really nice package, and then you throw the Unite move on top of it that allows you to do like a nice bit of burst, and it's just really, it's super solid. So you can definitely 1v5 or like, you know, 1v3 at the very least. And you guys are going to see that. Like, I go and I take some risky fights, like right here, okay? We start off, we're 1-on-2. Obviously, I'm ahead because I'm the jungler and I've been trying to farm bottom lane. But right here, we get a nice penta off this. Like, Wiggly helps me out a little bit, but because of Giga Drain, I'm able to stay in this even when I really should be backing away, right? And then once I get to that 3 kill mark, I'm like, all right, guys, I gotta go ham. Like, I could score this 42 immediately, but let me go and get this pentakill on the Pikachu, right? And we get it. Boom. There's your highlight reel for this for this video. just that was like a pretty good example. I get nuked here by a Unite move, which is unfortunate. But you notice the Unite move did not do as much damage as you would probably expect a Zero or a Unite move. And that's because I'm like, all right, let me pop a Giga Drain beforehand so that once the Unite move hits me, I get that damage reduction, you know? So, like, you want to be able to have a certain amount of micro play as well. You don't want to just be spamming. You need to be careful where you're putting your Giga Drains because your Giga Drains make or break this build. You're going to see, I go down here and I get, you know, I go a little too crazy. I go a little too hard in the paint, and I'm like, all right, let me just try and take like a 1-on-4 or something, right? I think this is it. No, this might not be it. At some point I do. But your Giga Drain aiming, if you miss it, like the more people that it hits, the more you're going to get healed, the more you're going to survive. So like landing it on one person is not necessarily optimal. Landing on a multiple, if you can, is optimal. And if you miss it altogether, you're going to be toast. So you really have to, like here, I managed to land it on a couple people and stay alive for a decent amount of time, but then once Zero Aura comes in, I don't land that last Giga Drain on 2 of them. I landed on 1 of them, and they're able to nuke me. And that's still, you know, a weakness of Venusaur, right? Like, you still don't... I don't want to say you don't want to be in melee range, but like you're still susceptible to taking large amounts of damage. You're not a tank. You're just like a pseudo tank with this type of damage dealing build. Speaking of builds, as far as items are concerned, I know people love to drop these questions in the comments. I'm still testing what like I feel like is the optimal like path to go, because with this type of build, you get so much damage reduction. Like you could honestly go, like a full tanky build if you wanted to be a real goofball and go like Aos Cookie and, you know, Focus Band on top of a Buddy Barrier and just be like a tanky juggernaut, right? Or you could go like a total glass cannon build. You could go special attack specs with Wise Glasses and like a Shell Bell or a Choice Specs. Choice Specs is really good on a lot of special attackers right now. It gives you a large amount of special attack, but it also, you know, increases the damage of a lot of those moves that have like longer cooldowns. I don't know if it's necessarily the best for like a Petal Dance type build, just because you're not getting that full bonus damage from the Choice Specs when you're dealing with a low damage, not a low damage ability, but like a semi damage over time ability like Petal Dance, if that makes sense, right? Like if you're running a Solar Beam build, then I would say 100% go Choice Specs, but with this type of build, you kind of want to err on the side of caution and go more of like decent damage with some survivability. So maybe you go special attack specs and Wise Glasses with like a Buddy Barrier if you're feeling Buddy Barrier, or maybe you go special attack specs and Choice Specs and Buddy Barrier, or maybe you just go full glass cannon. It's totally up to you. You guys let me know what you guys like to run with this kind of Venusaur build, but I'm still testing. I really prefer the Buddy Barrier though. I think it's just, you can't go without Buddy Barrier in my opinion. It's just too good, even if you're not using Unite moves all the time. But it just makes it so you have that extra level of shielding, plus you have a bunch of healing and everything. You know, it really makes you quite tanky. So Buddy Barrier, special attack specs, and like maybe Wise Glasses or Shell Bells is a really solid move. Here I try to go for this steal. It's not meant to be. There's a lot of people around here, and Petal Dance Giga Drain is not exactly a bursty build, but it is an amazing chase down build, and so we're able to go and take out quite a few of their teammates and prevent them all from scoring all of their points, which is nice. We do have a couple like relatively new players on our team, so like I wasn't expecting to be able to win like a full-on Zapdos fight. You know, it's just one of those things right now with mobile and everything's crazy, and I'm testing new builds, so you just got to play a little differently. We went for the steal, didn't work out, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see if we scored enough to secure the win anyway. But with this build, man, I like to call it my Juggernaut build, just because like you can literally just like run people down. If you got 2 people attacking you, you can just Giga Drain back up to like full HP, pop Petal Dance, be running around people. Make sure that you're using your basic attacks wisely because they do a ton of damage. But then also don't bite off more than you can chew. You saw it a couple times in this video that, you know, I went in when maybe I shouldn't have, and I was just feeling a little cocky. And that happens because it's just, you know, trying to have a silly goose time. Like here, I'm just like, whatever, game's about to end. Let me see if I can just run into people. But we win the game anyway, right? And that's all that matters. It was a good silly goose time, fun game for testing Venusaur, in my opinion. And I'm still unsure whether or not I like this build more than the Solar Beam build. You guys know I really love the Solar Beam build, even when everybody was hating on Venusaur. And the scoreline kind of, you know, tells the tale of the game. We went and we put in some work, 15 KOs, 8 assists, and we get a couple of good jobs for our effort, which is really nice. I'm just going to briefly show you the damage output just so you guys can see that it's not just a lifesteal, you know, drain tanking type of build. You actually output a massive amount of damage as well, and that's why I think it's going to be a really popular pick. Now that Cramorant saw some nerfs and Alolan Ninetales got a tiny bit of a rework, I think you're going to see a large amount of Venusaurs as the main special attacker in a lot of teams. So it's a really solid time to go and pick up Venusaur and start practicing both the Sludge Bomb, Solar Beam, and this build. But you can see here, we did 101,000 damage, 41% of our team's damage overall, and 64% of our team's healing. I mean, that's a large amount of healing, guys. And that's the power of this Venusaur. You can see the damage taken is also 25% of our team's total damage taken, which is pretty insane. And that's because of the damage reduction that we're getting. I mean, that's more than what Blastoise and some of those other guys on the other team were, because we were constantly in those fights. So if you like to be constantly in those fights, in people's faces, you know, go and do that. And make sure, if you like this content, you like this build, go check out my other builds on the channel. We just dropped a Talonflame and a Garchomp build. And let me know any video suggestions that you want. I'm more than happy to drop them. As always, thank you so much. Thank you for the 19K subs, guys. It means the world to me. I love doing this. I love making guides that's going to help you guys. So if any of this helps you, please let me know. Feel free to hop in Discord and chat with me. I try to be active when people at me in Discord or on Twitter. And that's going to be it for me, guys. Damocles out.